Watched so many episodes of Pimp My Ride after school.
The most egregious, unnecessary additions to cars.
God, what is this?
Your own mobile CAT scan machine. Right out of this exhaust.
That was Pimp My Ride. That was Pimp My... And I watched every episode.
I couldn't wait.
Anyways, we're here to pimp the New York Jets, of course. We're here
Nope,
to...
the Giants.
Sorry, the Giants. The
Jets can't be pimped, okay? The Jets need to strap on their New Balances and put one foot in front of the other. Pimp your franchise.
We're here to pimp your franchise.
Oh, this show is screwed.
Welcome to the opening bell of Pimp Your Franchise. I'm Trevor Sikkema. That's Connor Rogers. Exhibit will be here soon.
Yep.
As we're here to fix the Washington Commanders today. Very excited for this episode because, Connor, it's a little bit of a different feel to fix your franchise. A lot of times when we do these episodes, you know, we're focused on the front office or the coaching staff, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But this one, heavy roster conversation. The Washington Commanders have the oldest roster in the NFL this year, and if you just go to the players that are on their roster next year, they still have the oldest roster in the NFL. They don't have a ton of draft capital to work with, so, buddy, we got our work cut out for us here. How you feeling, my friend?
I'm good, dude. We were talking off air how, you don't get a lot of these where you know who the franchise quarterback is. You feel like you know who the coach is going to be next year. I mean, yes, It has not been a good year for this organization, but I think Dan Quinn still has belief from the owner. But you go in and be like, it wasn't supposed to be like this for them, where Adam Peters as the GM has some serious reevaluations with this roster with limited assets, as you mentioned, Trev. And the beauty of situations like these for organizations are, it's a shorter pathway to turning it around because you got the guy under center, a coach that has won before. So definitely, I know. This is not as easy though, because once again, we don't have the resources that you typically have. So it's definitely a different pimp your franchise than what we've been doing.
It is different. Shout out to our producer.
By the way, did he say in the open your own CAT scan machine?
Yes.
I don't know if I remember that one. Was she a nurse?
She must have been a nurse. Yes.
Could you imagine? You have a serious medical situation and you jump in the CAT scan machine of a car?
Brother, it's illegal. It has to be illegal. It's got to be illegal.
Man.
Almost everything that they put into these vehicles has to be illegal. I saw somebody, we love you guys so much for this. We got tagged a bunch in a post that somebody made yesterday about just somebody randomly, not associated with NFLSE, reminiscing about, I almost said Pimp Your Franchise, Pimp My Ride.
Same thing.
And they said, do you guys remember when they put a slot machine in somebody's car door and it wouldn't open? So now the car door won't open. But hey, buddy, you got a slot machine in your car. So you're welcome.
What if a stranger won the slot machine? They just get to go in your car? There's so many problems.
Yeah, can you... Again, like there's so many illegal logistics of what happened on Pimp My Ride. Can you think of the taxes? Progressives looking at you like, I'm sorry, you said you have a CAT scan machine in your car? And you're like, yeah. Okay, we're going to quadruple your premium here, actually. And so then, you're forcing people to sell the cars. It's just illegal logistics left and right, which is actually a really good way to encapsulate what we're here all about on this show as we pimp these franchises, as we fix these franchises. And so hello to everybody who's in the chat. We've already got some phenomenal super chats that we'll rattle off here to start the show, as we always do, because we're live. We love you guys. Zachy, $5 super chat, said Drake, the schedule may.
I like that.
Has successfully ran through the NFLSE gauntlet. Of course, Zach is talking about the fact that Drake May defeated my Tampa Bay Buccaneers one week, and then the very next week takes down Connor's New York Jets. He is indeed one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I think that makes him an official NFLSE addict and probably someone who can host the pod. So I think that that's really what he wins there from those 2 games.
Mediocrity incarnate. Thank you for the super chat. $6.07.
What a name.
Time for my bi-weekly hour and a half of watching Trevor 6'7" farm over and over. Probably. I'm no better than the NFL's official social account, let me tell you, brother.
Yeah. Just posting random clips of the referee doing this to say that the guy's bobbling the ball, and they're just like, yeah, you know why we're posting this. Find a Cure, $5 says Drake, Will, Kyle, Bullrush, McIntyre, Monungai, Campbell, May. Flows off the tongue so naturally. I would agree. That's why it was a very easy super chat to read there. Sullivan, $5 super chat said they're late because Connor was too busy putting out a fire after throwing a fork in the microwave with his Uncrustable.
No.
Can you confirm or deny those allegations?
No, for the 20th time, I wrapped the Uncrustable in tinfoil and then put it in the microwave to expedite the defrosting process.
And then, of course, we must legally say afterwards, please don't actually do that.
This show is turning into Jackass.
It really
Don't do steroids. Don't put metal in the microwave. Wash your hands.
Yeah, basically don't do all the cool stuff, you know? Hold this back.
Or do whatever you want. I don't care.
The Love $10 super chat says, when's the fixture franchise for the Bengals? Zach Taylor's acting like no personnel changes need to be made on the worst defense in history and actively dodging questions about the front office. I'm tired, boss. The Bengals are on the list, folks.
They are on the list.
They are on the list. And that's all we'll say. That's all we'll say about it.
I'll say one more thing. One of the tricky parts with them is we looked into this at work one day, and they don't fire coaches that have term left on their contracts.
Which goes into, it feels like how the Bengals go about things, which
right.
They hate spending any sort of excess money, which again, like I also hate doing that with the budget that I have. So I can't imagine doing it with millions and millions of dollars. But yeah, sometimes if a guy needs to go, he needs to go.
Brady Wooten, thank you for the super chat. We need Pimp Your Franchise merch.
My gosh.
Trevor and I need to kind of really put our brains together, and when we have time to do this, probably after the season, we need a line of merch. Hell in a Cell Thursdays is I'd wear this shirt every day. I'd wear the shirt every single day. I'd just get 6 colors of it and just wear it.
Brother, pimp Your Franchise merch would actually
slap.
Hit. Yes.
Slap. Football focus.
You know what we need to do is we need to have a big episode, like a bonus episode that is just sort of like a mailbag or a leftover super chat episode where within that we ask the addicts for some of their favorite bits that we've had over the last couple of years. And that's where we can really get some good birds. So Brady, good shout out there. Archie, $5 super chat. This addict is watching in the UK, means that my connection is still better than Trevor's. Whoa.
Deep accusations.
Easy. Also, he threw in a little fella there at the end. That's also a good one.
Damn.
Little fella's a good one. Little fella's a good one.
Little fella's real nice.
Wait, we're hardwired in, baby. We are.
You look crystal clear today.
We are hardwired in for this show. Hope I didn't just yank that out because it's
Spencer F.
That's why.
Thank you for the super chat at work. Staring at this video like a gold scar from Fortnite, waiting for me to listen to on my commute. Save my team, Caleb Downs, no matter what.
Ooh.
Who's your team?
Wow. Wait, is the team the Commanders?
Oh, maybe.
Caleb Downs, no matter what.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Terry, $10 super chat. Another week of Raheem Morris. The only thing that can save me is a fixture franchise of the Atlanta Falcons. We need some hopium. Hopium dealers is also a good merch shirt that I think that we could end up doing. With Penix's 4th knee injury, we're headed towards a total teardown. Yeah, not great that you don't have the 1st round pick either.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
The Falcons are also on the list of teams that we are trying to get to here.
Fredo, I like the Abbey with Jack Skellington. Thank you for the super chat. Need y'all to play Arc Raiders. COD is AI slop now. I don't know Arc Raiders.
I only watch stream. I've only seen clips of streamers playing Arc Raiders.
Is COD really AI slop now?
Look, man.
I haven't played in like literally.
I'm not really
2
a
to
big
3
Black
years.
Ops guy. I'm much more of a Modern Warfare guy, but I'm not buying Call of Duty. I'm exclusively a BF6 guy.
Hell yeah.
Exclusively. That's all.
Hell yeah.
That's it. That's all I'm doing. $10 super chat here. Thoughts on the IU linebacker, Aiden Fisher?
Which one? Because both are.
You've talked about both of them as stock up guys.
Both are very good.
Yeah. Do you like Fisher better? What do you like? Is it it's Jones, right? Is the other one?
Yes. Hold on one sec. I
can't remember which one you liked better.
No, I liked God, I'm pulling up their depth chart right now. This was like 2 months ago. I did a tape breakdown on them.
Yeah.
It was Isaiah Jones.
Isaiah Jones, yes.
I thought Isaiah Jones was more like NFL toolsy, but I think Fisher has been the better player at the college level. Now, Fisher is a senior that has been a transfer, so he'll be in the draft no matter what. Isaiah Jones can go back to school, but the front seven for Indiana just plays above their weight. It's amazing. It's amazing. So great shout out. Yeah, you asked for thoughts on an IU linebacker. You got thoughts on 2.
There you go.
Micah, want to do one more?
I would say I was going to rapid fire 3 of them, but go ahead. You do Micah's and I'll get to the
rapid fire. Be the machine.
Okay. All right. Fine. Micah, $10 super chat. Thoughts on the New York Giants wanting a coach with experience? Thanos line, if you call failure an experience. I don't like it because generally people good at their jobs don't get fired. They're scared of Joe Judge or Brian Dable and forgot Shermer. Look, we talked about this in the Fix Your Franchise episode for the New York Giants. I also think that they are going to lean on somebody who has had head coaching experience. I think the Steve Spagnuolo is in that conversation. I think Cliff Kingsbury's in that conversation.
Mike
McCarthy's in that conversation. Like, those are the names that I generally think that they are going to think about there. Liam, $10 super chat. I think Peter is effectively playing Pimp Your Podcast with the amount of improvements that we've seen to Trevor's production over the last few weeks. Look, many are saying that there is a direct correlation that when Peter started to get involved with the super chats and Peter Football Focus, that my internet connection, my microphone connection, and my camera connection have all drastically improved. And we have Peter to thank for that. So thank you, Peter. Last one, Chad, $10 super chat. Duval till I die, but I will cheer for anyone who wears their hat backwards. I'm ready to play in traffic. Appreciate the super chat. Appreciate a good backwards hat look. Okay, let's get into it. Let's talk about the Washington Commanders here. So, Commanders, they are currently 3-7 on the season. They were 12-5 last year. And the year before, it's their first year with Ron Rivera, they were 4-13. So last 2 years, and if you remember, if we take it back to 2024, they were changing everything. They were changing ownership, new name, new franchise quarterback because they had the number 2 overall pick, new head coach, new general manager. It was wiping a slate as clean as you possibly could with an NFL franchise. And for that, it's exciting times. They draft Jaden Daniels at number 2 overall. They have a phenomenal first season. They're 1 game away from making it to the Super Bowl. Because of that, they really hit the gas pedal with trades, with veterans, and a lot of other moves this offseason that, because they're not playing well, have led to a lot of holes on their roster having a spotlight shined on them. Specifically, I think the lack of depth and the high age that this team has. The average age for the Washington Commanders is over 28 years old. That is oldest team in the NFL. And like I said at the top of the show, if you go to just the players that are on the roster next year, that is still the case. They are the oldest roster in the NFL. Now it goes in like under 28 years old, but still, they are the oldest roster in the NFL. Connor, my first question to you as we start our conversation about where the Commanders currently are. Was 2024 for the Washington Commanders their version of the 2022 New York Giants, where they are a victim of their own success? Because when you look at things right now, of the 14, I get this from Ben Standig, who does a lot of really great work covering the team over at the Last Man Standing Substack that he runs. Of the 14 players that were drafted that are still on the team from 2021 to 2024, only 14 players are still on the team from that stretch of time. Connor, 8 of them are from last year's or Adam Peters' first class.
Right.
first draft class. They have no depth. They took a look at this roster from the Ron Rivera era and they went, oh my goodness. There's barely any players that they think are passable roster players from that era. And they were in a situation where they probably should have been just starting to lay the foundation on this roster and to really have some good draft classes, because they had nine players in that first draft class, that 2024 draft class. That's a lot of players. You were creating that depth. But then they played so well. They go, well, we got to go all in. We got Jaden Daniels. Trade for Marshawn Lattimore. Trade for Deebo Samuel. Trade for Laramie Tunsil. And now they're sitting at a point, like, sign all of these veterans that were ready to play to like 1-year deals that they did this past offseason. So my question to you, and I'd love to hear what the chat thinks about this as well, are they a victim of their own success because of what they did in 2024 and how, as of right now, it kind of has left them high and dry with not a lot of draft picks and a much older roster?
It's a yes and a no, because I don't think it's like the Giants in a sense where I think when you have a player of Jaden Daniels' caliber, there is a reason to believe in sustainable success. Where it's a yes, where with Daniel Jones, and credit to Daniel Jones for what he's done this year with the Colts and everything, I don't think people are putting Daniel Jones' best up there with Jaden Daniels' best. And
I would agree.
So, and Jaden Daniels is going to be with the Commanders for a very long time, I believe, while Jones, flamed out with the Giants, quite quickly after that. Where it is similar is it probably has you operating differently than you would have in terms of your timeline. Like you look at, I think Adam Peters is a good evaluator. I thought it was a good hire, but you do look at the moves they made this offseason. And I understand the urgency when you have a quarterback on a rookie contract, but man, they operated like it was year 4 instead of year 2.
Right. That's what I'm saying for him. Yeah.
They gave Javon Kinlaw a ton of money, who's never been a good NFL player. They traded for Deebo Samuel, whose body has been breaking down over the years, and he's had his moments for the Commanders this year, but he's also not what Deebo Samuel was. Laramie Tunsil, I feel like, has been really good. And
he's been awesome.
Like that move, I have nothing bad to say about, because you got a franchise tackle that's still in his prime, that's needed for the protection of the quarterback. So that's not one of the moves where I'm like, no, that move made sense for the short term and the long term.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you nailed it at the beginning, that, and where I want to give Adam Peters a little bit of a defense, despite some of his bad moves, is that, like you said, there was such a lack of a foundation from the previous regime. I mean, you're watching Emmanuel Forbes already on a different team right now, that it was a little bit of an uphill climb, that when you have an injury-plagued season like this one, it hits you even harder than normal teams. Because it's like, a lot of our starters are hurt. Oh, wow. Our second units are just not where we need this thing to be, because we haven't had the drafts and the time to do that yet. Yeah. They've been a little bit of a Murphy's Law team where it's funny, man. Like, everything went right for the Commanders last year. It just that horseshoe they were carrying around. And it feels like this year almost everything has gone wrong. And it's weird how that can happen in the NFL. Like the Chiefs in 1-score games last year were 12-0. This year they're 0-5. Right. That the NFL could be cruel like that, where instead of regression to the middle, you get regression all the way to the other side. And that's kind of happened with the Commanders, that I don't think they are in as bad of a place as in they're 3-8 right now, even worse than our graphic says. I don't think things are as bad as they currently look, but they really put a lot into 1 year and a lot of it failed, unfortunately. That this is probably now going to force them to take a step back and be like, and they don't have a ton of picks, but they have enough picks to be like, okay, now we really need to allocate into the draft to kind of build this as a long-term thing, where in a lot of areas last offseason, we were looking for the quick fix, and it felt like we missed on more of those moves than we hit on.
Yeah, and Tyler, you can go on to sort of the offense and the defensive slides. Feel free to kind of go between those as you see fit here as we continue to talk about the roster. And I think the chat The chat just disagrees with you a little bit when they say, okay, like the Lattimore pick obviously didn't work out. But like the Debo pick, the Debo trade, it was a 5th round pick. So it's like, okay, like I get that one. I actually like that move from it. And it is the money, no doubt.
I don't care about the 5th round pick.
And it is the money, but they also like they had the money to spend. They had the I think the 4th most or the 3rd most for like cap space to spend next season, or the previous offseason, I should say, like in 2025. So they had the room. So I don't even mind it from that regard, what they were going for. Kinlaw.
Let me ask you this. I hate to do this, but like this is cherry picking in hindsight from me. That's dangerous, even though I didn't love the Debo trade. Would you rather go out and back up the Brinks truck for Stephon Diggs, or would you rather trade for Debo Samuel and take on his money?
Yeah, I think in hindsight, you'd rather have Diggs, no doubt. But I will push back on that a little bit, just because Debo is the kind of player who I think works really well in Cliff Kingsbury's offense.
Yes.
Cliff wants things spread out. And he wants things spread out because he wants to test you vertically and he wants to test you horizontally. Debo is one of those players where I think Cardinals fans had a lot of gripe with when Kingsbury, one of the things that didn't go well with him when he was with the Cardinals, a lot of his offense was predicated around like there were a lot of short passes. And I remember like a lot of Cardinals fans were like, everything is just dink and dunk. Like I feel like a lot of things are quick screens and quick slants and all this kind of stuff, or it's deep down the field stuff. Well, that's kind of what Cliff Kingsbury's spread offense and air raid offense is about. And Debo, if you give me a healthy Debo, even what he is right now, and then you give me Terry McLaurin healthy as my 1, and then Jalen Lane, who they drafted to be another sort of field stretching fast wide receiver, that's kind of ideal for what Kingsbury wants to do. Now, obviously,
you can't predict Terry McLaurin being hurt all year.
And that's the thing. Like obviously, with McLaurin down, Diggs is immediately the best wide receiver on this team. And like he is the player that they need. But with all of them healthy, I don't hate that move. I think,
yeah.
Getting back around to it though, because like I think they gave Kinlaw too much money. He's been fine. He's a rotational dude, and they've needed him to play a little bit more. And I think that he has been fine. I will give him that. He has been better than I thought he was going to be, and he has been better.
So low though, for
he has been better than what he was with the Jets. But I do think they gave him quite a bit of money to simply be better than he was at the Jets, which I don't love. The Tunsil trade, great. I mean, you couldn't have done it any better, really, to be honest with you, because I think that he's been exactly with what you needed. And again, in theory, you have Sam Cosmi, who could be a Pro Bowl offensive guard for you. You have Tyler Biadasz, who you're great with at center. You traded for Laramie Tunsil, who you feel great about now as a pass protecting left tackle. And that then allowed you to go get the young offensive tackle in Josh Connerly at right tackle. So I actually like almost all of the moves that they have made. Like I said, the Kinlaw one, they gave him a lot of money, and the Lattimore one didn't work out. Lattimore is an aggressive corner, and we'll get to Dan Quinn in a second, how he plays aggressive in the secondary. So again, I kind of get it. But where I think the Commanders really failed, and it's hard to blame them too much for this, because you're, like you mentioned, you're trying to capitalize on who Jaden Daniels is right now. They did not have the depth on their roster to trade all of the draft picks that they did.
Right.
They gave up a 3rd and a 4th round draft pick last year. They gave up a 2nd and a 4th round draft pick this year. You very clearly hated all of the Ron Rivera players. Where do you think the depth of your roster is going to come from if you're going to get rid of all those players? It's going to come from the draft.
Sure.
So that to me is the issue.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Even if we Madden turned all the injuries off, this team does have decent star power, but once you get to that 2nd and 3rd levels of the depth chart, yeah.
And that's what happened.
That is obviously what happened. Right.
Riddled with injuries that some not shocking with an old roster. Others also bad luck. It goes both ways. So it's just been that kind of year for the Commanders. I agree with you, and I agree with the chat, the big picture, that it almost feels unfair to just get on Adam Peters because, like you said, Trevor, you're almost criticizing them for them being successful earlier than anyone thought. Where if like they were an 8-win team last year and Jaden looked really good and you're like, oh, wow, this, and then they had this kind of year, you'd be like, okay, the Commanders got to kind of like really reset through the draft here around Jaden Daniels. But because of how the expectations were set and now they're bottoming out this year, and we're going to get to this during the draft, them at least being bad this year, be really bad now. Be really bad. Because maybe it presents a trade-out opportunity to acquire more capital back.
Yeah, because where are they picking right now? Were they in the order?
I mean,
that would be they're 7 right now. If they somehow end up around 4 or 5, I didn't say 6 or 7. So if they somehow end up around 4 or 5, you have an opportunity to trade back to get some good capital back. And that's another thing that goes into this. Actually, Tyler, you could go to draft history because we can start talking about draft history a little bit here for this team. If you just go to this 2025 class that we have here, we'll get into our draft grades and sort of what we thought. I think what goes into the conversation of what we just talked about is, remember, they didn't have a lot of picks in this draft. They had 5 selections. They could have traded down from 29, and they didn't. And Peters
you think they could have? They had offers?
I believe Peter said we had offers on the table, but we loved Connerly. But this is the player that we wanted.
Yeah, I liked Connerly a lot too, so I have no problem with that.
So again, you are going so far all in. And I just think that this was look, we're sitting here with the benefit of hindsight, of course. But I think the learning lesson from Adam Peters over the last 2 years was not necessarily that getting aggressive is a bad thing, but you have to be realistic about where your roster is. I remember I was watching this TikTok a few days ago, and it was with Nick Saban. And Nick said, success is a distraction from the process. And I also remember another video that I watched from Lane Kiffin where when he was on Nick Saban's staff, he was like, we just won the national championship. And the following Monday, Saban said, hey, we've got a staff meeting at 6:45 a.m. or whatever. And Lane Kiffin's like, we just won the national championship. What do you mean we got a staff meeting at 6:45? So that was a little like to the extreme because Saban was like, hey, but because we were in the national championship, we're behind on recruiting. We got to get to it. Like that was the process part of it.
Yeah. That sucks, but I respect the hell out of it.
But
celebrate your victories.
There is truth to, there is somewhat of truth to success can be a distraction from the process.
100%.
And I think that when you look at them going 12-5 last year, it's hard to think that we wouldn't have gone all in to try to capitalize on who Jaden Daniels was. But the big issue was, you traded all the draft picks for Marshawn. Then you traded all the draft picks for Laramie Tunsil. Then you didn't trade out of the first round when you could have. And now you're sitting here with a very thin margin for error in a violent game where guys get hurt all the time. And you actually have one of the oldest rosters in the NFL that could get really banged up. And you hate your depth because you did not like the roster that you inherited at all. And I think that's the learning lesson from Peters as we kind of go through the other drafts here of, man, going all in, maybe I don't regret that part. But when I went all in, I think also could have mattered here.
Right. It's a tricky line. And now as we look at the draft before we just had up, I mean, you're right. It's a fine line to walk because if you're not aggressive in the offseason, your entire market is yelling at you and saying, well, we have Jaden Daniels and we were 1 win away from the Super Bowl last year. Why aren't we being aggressive? And then you're aggressive and you were like, whoa, not like that. We didn't.
Right.
So it is. And now we kind of go back to his first draft here, which of course is Jaden Daniels is the highlight of, but there is some depth in this, right? Where you look at getting Sandra still. Johnny Newton has played a lot this year. Obviously, Luke McCaffrey has been depth at wide receiver for them. Mm-hmm. But like what jumps out here is the volume of picks they have compared to the year following it and compared to what we're going into this year.
Right. Right. And when you look at that 2023 class, because we can just go through, I think we've got slides for 2023 and 2024. Look at this 2023 class here. This was not Peters. This was Rivera's last year, but Forbes is not on the roster anymore. Jatavian Martin is. Stromberg's not. I don't think Braden Daniels is. KJ Henry's not. Chris Rodriguez is. Andre Jones isn't. And then you go over to 2022.
It's rough.
Jahan Dotson's not. Fedarian Mathis isn't. Brian Robinson isn't. Percy Butler isn't. Sam Howell isn't. Cole Turner. Chris Paul actually is. He could be their starting guard.
Plays a lot for them, yeah.
I know. Christian Holmes
Not
isn't
very good though.
I mean, he's been better.
But I mean, good value for where they got him.
He has been better this year, I think. And to your point, like even independently, great value for where
the fact that you got a starter at that spot, that's one of the best picks they've had in years.
You've got to have more rosterable players than that. And when you don't, you've got to take that into consideration when you think about trading draft picks and getting aggressive and things like that.
The chat cannot believe how bad these classes are. And what you have to realize is, because I'm a victim of this too, I've gotten better at it. Like every time you go back to a draft 3 years later or 4 years later, you're like, oh, wow, like there's not a lot of NFL players here. 9 times out of 10 times you do that. But you got to have a 2 to 3 player class. And when I say
at least, yes,
like you need maybe 2 starters and then a reserve that's capable. When you start to have these, that's when you put yourselves in a hole. And then you have another one and it's like, oh my goodness, we missed on 2 whole drafts. We can't even buy our way out of these. And that's not their fault. That's not their fault. They didn't have these awful back-to-back drafts.
Yeah. So all of that to say, I'm not out on Adam Peters. I'm not even out on like this era with Dan Quinn. It was just sort of, to me, I can understand being aggressive. Shoot, I even praised being aggressive at times for this team. But very clearly, I did not fully understand how much they did not like the depth on this roster. And like somebody said in the chat, they have no core. They have no second string. They barely have any second stringers that they trust. They certainly don't have a lot of third stringers that they trust on this team. They're rotating them so much. And if you go back to the guys that they signed in free agency in 2025, Connor, the 1-year deals are the papers on the 1-year deals are stacked to the ceiling. They're signing all of these 1-year vets. I mean, they're basically just retooling the entire roster with 1-year veterans last year. Now, they have the flexibility for a lot of those guys to be gone this offseason. So you could say to yourself, well, it didn't really cost them anything. They're not playing well this year. They could just move on from them this offseason. Yeah, but now you got to sign like, I think they have like 32 total players under contract for next year. You got to sign a ton of players next year. So
yeah, and they have right. And I see Andrew in the chat says, Jesus, taking Forbes over anyone, especially Gonzo, should get you deported to Siberia.
That's tough.
Listen, I have plenty of like takes I look back on and go like, yeah, that wasn't great. I could not fathom how they took Emmanuel Forbes over Christian Gonzalez. I could not. That was bad. And that pick is
and we hated that one on draft day, by the way.
You can that's go back what I mean. The stinker that keeps on stinking. This big picture, you look at the defense on paper, they don't have a dude. They don't have a player that, and this is perfect, the defensive core players, they don't have a player that when the offensive coordinator goes into the week that goes, I better think twice about my game plan with this guy on the field.
No, there's no doubt.
There's not that guy. The fact that Frankie Louvu is probably in the combo is in shout out to Frankie Louvu, like amazing what he's done with his NFL career. But that's the problem in a defense that schematically they need somebody that could take over on the edge, in my opinion, and they don't have that guy.
Yeah, I like Johnny Newton a lot, but
me too.
He's not a Chop $2 super chat. Goat Myers built for this offense.
Good to see Chop drop in with Goat.
We had, he just got to get
big win over show. Maryland.
Yeah, got to make sure.
You want to know one of like the more like real degenerate things I did this year? I bet on Illinois to win 8+ games. Okay. And it's not like a big bold bet. Like they had to win 8 games. Like this bet needs to hit for like some kind of return
for your mortgage. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have 2 games left They have to win one of them to get to 8. It hasn't been like an enjoyable sweat that I've really like. Every week I'm peering over at work. Like we have the big screening room with all the games on.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, Connor, what are you watching? I'm like, Illinois, Maryland. It's like, meanwhile, like all these great games are on.
You're brother. You're like 3 steps away from calling up Ron Sikkema, sitting next to him, watching San Jose Tech versus Colorado Institute of Technology.
Ron, what is the over/under for Campbell this week? Please give me something.
Somebody tweeted at me earlier this week. It was obviously somebody who watches the show, and they were like, "Hey, ask your dad what the score is of like." It was like San Diego State versus like Cal Poly, and I just responded to him and I was like, "Not obscure enough. He doesn't care."
No, he doesn't know that. That's a real college football game.
That's a real college football game. Okay, I know we had the slide of the core players up. You don't have to bring them up yet because I do want to touch on just look. I don't think Dan Quinn's going anywhere. I really don't. Their DC Joe Witt. I think he's probably the scapegoat in this situation. Adam Peters didn't go anywhere. I don't think Dan Quinn's going anywhere. I do not think Cliff Kingsbury is going anywhere. But some candidates for defensive coordinator. If Raheem Morris gets fired from the Falcons, Raheem has worked under Dan Quinn's staff before. I think that one makes sense. Jeff Ulbrich has as well from their days when Dan Quinn was the head coach of the Falcons. So I think those are two connections there that they could be the DC of this team if either of those guys are free agents or if they're let go. And then the last one, sort of the one that I will just throw out here is Will Muschamp. Will Muschamp was the head coach at the University of Florida in 2011 and 2012 when Dan Quinn was the defensive coordinator. That was before he went to Seattle even. And Muschamp has obviously bounced around college football a little bit. He was a head coach at Florida. Then he was a head coach at South Carolina. Then he was the defense coordinator for, I think, Auburn. Before he was like an analyst for Georgia, and he's not really doing anything. I think his kids, one of his kids is like high school football level or age. So I think he's just kind of doing that thing where he's just enjoying being a dad and all that. But if he wants to get back into coaching, he is a name that I would throw out there because I think Will Muschamp's a really good defensive mind. So I just wanted to throw those out there because I knew people would ask. So that's what I got for DC candidates.
Yeah, it's going to be a very real conversation, and I just think the defense needs more talent, man. It really does to help that guy and help Quinn. And like you said, depending on what goes on with the Falcons, that's the no-brainer one. Like you could see that seamless transition. Because say what you want about Raheem, who I always find myself rooting for, and I know you do as well, Trevor. It hasn't been the season Atlanta was hoping for, but if he ends up looking for a new job, it won't take him long to find one.
I would agree.
As an assistant.
100%. Hey, we got a lot of people watching the show, over 800 people tuning in right now. We love you guys. We appreciate it. Even if your favorite team is not the Commanders, hopefully you are enjoying this podcast. If you are, we'd love for you to subscribe to the show if you aren't yet. We know that we got a lot of new viewers with this live format that we're doing, so we would love for you guys to be a part of the Addicts and subscribe to the show. We go live every Monday and Wednesday. We do these Fix Your Franchises, but of course, when we get into NFL draft season, when things are really rolling along, we'll do the player rankings, all of the mock drafts, all that good stuff that you guys are used to if you love the NFL draft. So if you do, we'd love for you to subscribe to the show. It's a free way to help us out. It really is. Also, there's some things that school doesn't teach you guys, like maybe how to handle the financial world. That includes for your kids. Fabric makes it easy to set up an investment account for your kids to make sure that they get a financial head start. So how about that? Fabric by Gerber Life. It was designed by parents for parents to make it easy to plan for and manage your family's financial path with the kids' investment account from Fabric. You guys can start investing in your child's future today. While your kids can't invest while they're minors, UGMA specific kids investment account allows you to invest on their behalf. It gives their investments so much more time to grow. The funds can be used for nearly anything to benefit your child. Maybe when they're younger, it's summer camps, it's after school activities, books, sporting events, whatever. And then maybe when they're a little bit older, young adults, you're helping them buy that first car, first house, maybe even start a business. Whole thing is online. Setting up an account could take you as little as just 5 minutes. Get started investing with as little as $1 a day, and then just manage your child's account and monitor those investments right from your phone. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family. Start investing in your future today, in your child's future today, at meetfabric.com/NFL stock exchange. That's meetfabric.com/stock exchange. MEET fabric.com/stock exchange. The portfolios are managed by Fort Washington Investment Advisors Incorporated. Additional services provided by Apex Queen Corporation. All investing is subject to risk. You guys can learn more at meetfabric.com. All right. Let's get into roster stuff here. Somebody said Drake fabric.
It's never gonna end.
Actually, before we do the roster stuff, let me run through a couple more super chats here. Spencer, $5 super chat. Also, I was in on Drake May as QB1 in this class. Not turning on my Pookie JD5, but getting a little nervous. Sidebar. Launch Quan Martin into the sun. Whoa, come on. It's a rough year. You don't need to send him on a one-way space trip. Need to be doing that. Waste of taxpayers' money.
It's been that bad, huh?
No. I think we can. We can work it out. Wow, $5 super chat here for Troy. Drake Estime.
Wow. That's the mascot of the show.
That's art. Brilliance right there. D Sauter, $5 super chat says illegal logistics, you say. Dan Snyder has re-entered the chat. Also, my comp for Jaden Daniels is Flat Stanley, equally as durable.
Do you know who Flat Stanley is?
I don't.
So
did I say something I wasn't supposed to?
No.
Okay.
Not that I know of.
All right.
So my Flat Stanley was like this paper character. My nephew had to do a school project where Flat Stanley goes somewhere and then you learn about the place. So I was going to the Kentucky Derby for work and I brought Flat Stanley to Churchill Downs for my nephew. So I took a picture with Flat Stanley in front of Churchill Downs. But like the point is like Flat Stanley, it's like, you know, you could pack them anywhere. I guess D Sauter is saying that Flat Stanley is not durable. Because he's paper. Yeah.
Could be. Now that I've got the backstory. Could be.
There you go.
GR $5 super chat. You think the Pimp My Ride guys would let me just keep Exhibit? Probably. I don't think Exhibit would let you keep Exhibit, to be honest with you. Dude lifts. He's stacked.
He just sits in the backseat of your car all the time.
Well, he says and it's a genie where he could legally just grant every request. I don't know about that. Probably can't get away with that one. Unless they just turn your entire car into the lamp from Aladdin. I don't know. Maybe at that point.
Don't put anything past them. Libertarian Sasquatch. My wife gets Uncrustables for the kids. I crush 90%. Yeah.
90%.
As you should.
Why she's shopping for the kids and he's housing 90% of them? She
thinks the whole time, man, the kids love these Uncrustables. And you're like, yeah, honey, they really do. And you can get the mega box.
Which you do, of course.
100%. I have a basement freezer. You got to have the basement freezer.
Oh, what a flex.
Meats and Uncrustables.
Hold on.
When I bought my house.
Secondary freezer, you have a basement. That was a double flex.
Right? No big deal. Yeah, when the people I bought my house from were like, oh, we'll leave the basement freezer. I was like, oh, sold. Say no more. I will buy this house. Joseph Hooper, thank you for the $5 super chat. So fix your franchise Chiefs when? Is it just get Jeremiah Love?
Yes. Yeah. Connor did that in the mock draft that we did a week and a half ago. They don't need more pimping than that.
That's it. Done.
Rob $5 or $2 super chat said Trevor needs a sink pimped in his ride.
Like a sink in your trunk.
Yeah.
That you can pull over and wash your hands.
Yeah, essentially it's just the aisle at Lowe's where it's just like different like bathroom sinks. Like that's like it's a limousine, but it's just like that stretch limousine, and it's just different sinks that are in there.
Boss GM, thank you for the super chat. Tuxedo t-shirt, merch, and flex fit hats. Big Tux. We ride with
Tux, dude.
We're taking them down. Matthew Charles, thank you for the $50 super chat. Very kind.
$50 super chat.
Very kind of you, Matthew. Welcome to a random thought today. Wondering if team reporters / journalists had contracts like NFL players. Now my brain is imagining Trevor waking up late to a call from Jimmy Haslam and everyone debating Connor's trade value in Uncrustables. Fun fact, many reporters and journalists do have contracts, but they obviously just aren't controlled by the team. So there you go. They're not just usually salaried employees.
Also, my phone's on Do Not Disturb when I'm sleeping. Jimmy Haslam can wait till the morning, like everybody.
Yeah. Waking up to a call, I am absolutely Do Not Disturb overnight,
bro. You know, Schefter's got to sleep with the phone at like full volume at all times, right?
That's a horrible life.
Yeah, because you can't miss anything.
I mean, yes, that's absolutely right, but that's just oh man.
And he's probably got like, how many phones do you think he has? You think he's got 4? 3?
He has to have at least 3, you would think, because
You would
one
think.
has to be strictly just for family. And then you would think he divides up.
Maybe.
I would say 3, because then one is like his general phone that like radio stations even have.
Mhm.
But then a second one is probably for high level contacts, like general managers, the biggest agents in the game. Maybe he'll see this and he'll answer.
Maybe that's true. And then
If I see him at the combine, I'm going to be like, I just got to know, how many phones do you have?
Yeah, you and him are cool. You just walk up to him and ask him. Yeah.
Last time I was flying out of LaGuardia, I think the Super Bowl or combine, we were next to each other where you put stuff in the bins. Not a good time to interrupt someone.
Put stuff in the bin.
Yeah, like security. Like when you're
like a TSA.
Everyone's
Yeah.
freaking out. LaGuardia is a mess. I wasn't gonna be like, hey Adam, how many phones you got going in that bin? Yeah.
Hey Adam, who the Jets drafted? Tony Lee, $20 said, sorry I missed the live stream, guys. Jacob Rodriguez for Heisman. Hashtag defense for Heisman. He's making a case. He got a rushing touchdown this past week.
That guy rules, man.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he is.
The McPain train, looking into a craft size hole in tight end room, anything. I can't decipher that.
I can't either.
But
Kraft's got to be Tucker Kraft.
No, yeah, I got that far. And tight end.
Or is it Kraft mac and cheese?
Yeah. I liked the
Think about it.
The Ice Road Tucker.
Oh, that was a good one.
That was a good one a couple weeks ago I saw.
Ice Road Tucker's a good fantasy name. Yeah. Okay, last one. Wyatt, $20 super chat. I'm tired of teams with superstar quarterbacks begging for pimp your franchises. I've watched Geno Smith, Jimmy G, Aiden O'Connell play for my quarterback team. 2 playoff appearances in my 27 years of lifetime. Man, I am tired. Wyatt, we will be helping you out. We will be helping you out.
He makes a really fair argument.
He does. We also have never pimped the Browns.
That's insane.
Yeah. Those two probably have to be locks this year.
Yeah.
We got to get to it. To it. All right. Speaking of getting to it, let's get back to it here.
Right.
We saw a little bit of the roster, some of the projected starting lineups that we had. The Jaden Daniels obviously is entrenched as the starting quarterback here. Running back, I filled this out. It's like Ja'Cory Cross-Demerit, maybe. Do they view him as the RB1? Because I kind of feel like if they did, he'd be playing a little bit more of the lion's share of the carries right now. I like Ja'Cory. I like Big Bill. But
Me too.
I don't know if they do, so that's why I just put his name there. Terry is here after the contract extension. The other wide receiver, Debo, maybe? He's up. He's up after this year, but they can bring him back, and I kind of think they would.
Yeah, it makes sense for both sides financially.
Right. The O-line's pretty set, to be honest with you. Tunsil's set, Connerly's set, Cosme's set, Biotish is set. Chris Paul could start at guard for them. Clearly, they like him more than they like Brandon Coleman at this point, but I think there's a world where I'm pretty sure Chris Paul is a free agent, but you bring him back. You still have Brandon Coleman as a backup offensive lineman you feel decent about, and then they still, I think, have Nick Allegretti, if I'm remembering correctly. I think Andrew Wiley is the one who's a free agent. We'll get to that in a second, but you could keep those guys for depth if you wanted to. On the defensive side of things, unless any thoughts on the offense before we go to defense?
No, okay. I just like the shout in the chat from Brandon who said Bill is more effective when Jaden is out there. I agree. The Commanders' offense and the variety in their run game when Jaden is healthy is notably different. It makes Bill look better. The quick game to Debo is better. The jet sweeps to Debo. So that's a good call out that it doesn't feel dire at running back with McNichols and Rodriguez as well, but it can be upgraded if need be.
On the defensive side of things, Jacob Martin's been their best pass rusher. He's on a 1-year deal currently.
And that's a problem.
Yeah, Dorrance Armstrong was their second best pass rusher, who they have under contract for next year, but he tore his ACL. So, okay, how much are you going to lean on him being a major difference maker for you in the pass rush game? I have a question mark for DT1. They still have Deron Payne under contract, but they save a lot of money if they move on from him.
It's that quickly already, huh? I feel like that contract just kicked in.
I feel as though they're going to move on from him, but you got Johnny Newton, you have Javon Kinlaw. I think those two guys give you the flexibility to move on from Deron Payne. You got Frankie Louvu. He's not going anywhere. I don't think you re-sign Bobby Wagner at this point. You got to get younger. Trey Amos is going to be one of your corners. I don't know who the other outside corner is going to be because you're surely going to move on from Marshawn Lattimore. I have Mike Sammer still in the slot, but he can play outside corner as well if you want him to. Quan Martin's probably going to be one of your starting safeties next year. And then the other one, maybe Will Harris, because he's done a pretty good job of just being a somewhat high floor type of a safety that I think they'll bring back.
So where this draft is going to come into play big time here.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. So,
man, it's tough when you look at it like this, isn't it?
It is. But, getting to the free agency part of it, I think their team needs, we've got wide receiver 2 with Terry McLaurin, edge 1 and edge 2. Like, I think you need to try to upgrade at both edge spots, because when you look at what Dan Quinn wants to do, Dan Quinn's defenses are aggressive. Now, he comes from the cover 3 tree where it was a lot of single high stuff. And I still think he loves the idea of having that roaming safety over the middle of the field because he wants that player to be super aggressive. So he still likes to get in single high stuff when he can, but he understands that the NFL game has changed since, he was a part of the Legion of Boom as their defensive coordinator there. So they'll still do single high stuff, but if you go back to what they were doing with the Dallas Cowboys, it was a lot of aggressive play from their secondary guys. Think of Deron Bland, the interceptions that he had and how those fell off the second that Dan Quinn left. Trayvon Diggs, obviously somebody who is a ball hawk and a risk taker at corner. Those are the types of players that Dan Quinn likes because he wants his guys to be aggressive. He wants them to create those turnovers. He wants them to be in the film room and being able to be, if they're in off-man coverage, be able to jump certain routes. And if they're in some sort of off-zone assignment, like still be aggressive towards where the ball is going. He does that by having a defensive front that deploys a lot of guys who are one-gapping players basically at all 4 spots on the defensive line. And they are just very aggressive in the gap that they have on a singular play. Like whether it's slanting, whether it's a stunt or a twist, or whether it's just just beat the guy in front of you no matter what. Like that's the type of defensive players that he wants out there. And I think the defensive side of the ball is so much more void of those difference-making players than the offensive side of the ball with how we're going to build this thing in a second.
Right. And they need a game changer, in my opinion, in the front 7 for them. And then you could figure out the rest. But schematically, they need some kind of matchup presence in the front 7. And, they don't have that. And I see a lot of it in the chat. Like the pass rush is not good enough. And the bright side is, even after all of the aggressive moves, and this is the beauty when you ain't paying a quarterback, man, it is a beautiful thing.
100%.
The Commanders 100%. Next year have $82 million in cap space before moving on from a single player.
Yeah.
And over 60 in effective cap space. Now, you said this at the top, Trevor, and it's a great thing to highlight. They have a lot of roster spots to fill out.
They only have 34 players under contract for next year, which is the fewest in the NFL. So, yes.
So that, let's not act like they can go on a bonanza, but they can get a high profile player or two in free agency, and I think it should be allocated towards this defense.
Yeah. I think they will have some options. So when you look at those players that they have as free agents, I think Marcus Mariota is coming back, right? As long as Marcus Mariota is still in the NFL, they're going to want him to back up Jaden Daniels. They're very comfortable with that. I think you bring back Jacob Martin. He's got a passes win percentage above 15%. I think you bring him back again.
And he's played in the scheme for a while at different stops. It makes a ton of sense.
Chris Paul, I think you bring back. The guys who have the asterisk next to them are the ones I think you bring back just because he could be a starting guard for you. I think you bring Deebo Samuel back. You could bring.
It probably makes sense for both sides, right? Deebo's comfortable with he shouldn't cost you a ton at this point. And he's going to be banged up. But if you get another wide receiver in this room, you feel good about the depth that you have. It can't just be Deebo and Terry, who are now both getting older and hurt.
Right. The other, you'll be able to potentially sign some of these guys, but that's sort of up in the air. That to me is dependent on if you have the ability to go out in free agency and get a little bit younger. So you mentioned that their cap space, their effective cap space is right around $64 million, which is the sixth most as it stands right now. However, if we go to the next slide, the potential extensions, you could extend Frankie Louvu, who will be 30 years old, but you could extend him because you like, because you know that he's great. He's up in 2027, so extending him a couple of years gives you a little bit of extra cap space. You can extend Laramie Tunsil as well. I saw somebody in the chat saying, like, is Laramie Tunsil the guy at left tackle? He's the guy at left tackle. You paid the price for him, and he has been worth it for you. You don't want to mess that up, in my opinion. So I think that you could extend him a little bit as well, get some extra cap space. The same with Tyler Biadasz. Now, the potential cuts here, if you cut Daron Payne, you save $16.5 million. If you cut Marshawn Lattimore, you save $18.5 million.
You got to get rid of Lattimore, man. His legs are just gone.
And if you move on from Nick Allegretti, who I talked about as their swing offensive lineman, you could save another $6 million. So if you're bringing back Andrew Wiley, who can be that swing, interior, like flexible type of dude who could be your backup offensive tackle, then it makes it easier to move on from Allegretti. That is a lot of money that is pretty easy to just say, yeah, we're moving on from these guys. So I think they'll have a ton of cap space to work with here.
They will. The potential cuts make a ton of sense. I saw some people in the chat saying Luvu's struggled this year, and I get it, but Luvu to me was playing really well the first half of the season. When this team got hit with a ton of injuries and the situation around him evaporated, linebackers are going to look bad when everything else goes around them.
Totally.
It's such a hard position to play when you don't really have any help in your front seven. So I'm still a believer that Frankie Luvu is a part of the answer with this unit rather than just a guy like, he hasn't been great this year. Well, a lot of your team hasn't been great because of everything going on in the environment. So
the chat's saying, could they trade Daron Payne? I think they could trade Daron Payne.
For a very late pick. Yeah.
His contract is a lot.
That's why it would be a late pick.
Let's see. He would have one more official year, and he's a $28 million cap hit next year for the Commanders. So they're going to move on from him. So I guess you could trade him, but it'll be for a later pick if you get anything for him. But
maybe you just ride it out one more year.
Maybe.
They're not going to be able to fix the entire thing.
I think you're either trading him or he's cut. I think he's off the roster next year.
Okay.
Because he's a $28 million cap hit. That's not worth it for where this team is. I don't think.
No, it's not. You're right.
I don't know exactly what the money would be if they're trading him, but I do think. Which, by the way, shout out to I want to make sure that I get his name right. Cam, I believe was his first name. He reached out to me via email because he was listening to the show that we did earlier this week. Where is this? And he was basically like, "Hey guys, all due respect, you got some contract stuff wrong." And he was very nice. He said he was a huge NFLSE fan. And
Cam-Analytics?
I think it is.
Someone in the chat said A, and it's Cam-Analytics. So
it is Cam. Yes.
So he's actually watching. Hello, Cam.
Yes. Shout out to Cam. Cam, we really appreciate you. He ended up making a 15-minute YouTube video walking us through, like, okay, hey, this is where the money goes if this team is traded. This is how, certain roster bonuses work and everything like that. So we didn't need it too heavily for this show, but in the ones in the future, shout out to Cam, a loyal addict, someone who cares about the show so much that he really wanted to take the time to really help us out. And we love that. We say that it is a show of the people. We really mean it. We truly, truly mean it. Cam said the team getting Daron Payne would pay just over $20 million. Man, that's a lot of money. That's still a lot of money for Cam Payne. Yeah, W Cam. Nonstop W's for Cam in the chat.
The W's for Cam.
Please. Let's go to free agency signings and the potential free agency signings that we have here. These are the names that I feel like age-wise and need-wise could make sense for them.
So you think Pittman gets cut by the Colts?
I thought he was a free agent.
No, he has another year left on his deal.
I thought he was a free agent.
Also,
Tommy.
Bland just got extended.
Oh, you're right. He did.
So he'd be off. That one just came in this year, but it's, I guess, the combo from Pittman, if he's not cut, which why would he be? Everything's rolling for the Colts right now.
Yeah. I thought he was a free agent this year.
Because of that, does Alec Pierce make it to free agency? I mean, the Colts should not.
Yeah, but Terry is ideally your deep threat,
right?
And you have Jalen Lane, so I don't know how interested.
So you're looking for a big body possession receiver.
Something, yeah, something along those lines.
All right. A lot of people in the chat have been banging the table for Leo Chanel, who we had go to the Giants with Spags in fixing franchise.
Here's the issue with Leo Chanel. Hell of a football player, wonderful football player. Him and Frankie Louvu, I don't want to say do the exact same thing because that would be disingenuous. But Frankie Louvu is a downhill attacking linebacker.
Yep.
Like he started his career as a Sam. Like he was somebody who has pass rush ability, run defense ability. He's decent in coverage. And like the whole reason why you would sign Leo Chanel is from what we said in the Fix Your Franchise for the Giants. If you want to improve your run defense.
Eli in the chat brought up Romeo Dobbs, which that's a player.
I don't hate that. That's a good one.
Schematically, that makes a lot of sense. I saw people in the chat say Pickens. We're operating this offseason like the Cowboys are paying Pickens because they.
Yeah, I think Pickens is an option for them, but I also think that he is going to stay. I don't think Dobbs is a good one. I like if Green Bay moves on from him, I actually really like that one. Devin Lloyd, I think, is perfect for this team. Now,
how do you let Devin Lloyd leave if you're
I don't think he's going to leave. But if he leaves, Devin Lloyd next to Frankie Louvu, that's awesome, in my opinion. I think that's a great linebacker duo that you feel really comfortable with. You know who's an underrated name that I didn't list there? Because I went to free agency and I sorted guys who were under the age of 27 because I think they got to sign a lot of 1 and 2 year players that are just straight up younger, right?
Yeah.
Christian Harris, the linebacker. He's a younger dude. I think that could be Jack Sanborn as a depth linebacker. Now, these aren't ideally maybe not your LB1s, but guys that you like that I'm just throwing some names out there. If Cordell Flott gets out of New York, maybe you feel like you could play him in the slot. You could move Mikey Samerstill to the outside again. I feel okay about that one. One that I really like, though, is Ronnie Hickman, the safety from Cleveland, who I think has been playing really well. I think he's a very solid player. He's still under the age of 27. Shoot, I think he's like 25. He's going to be like 25 when he hits free agency. He's been playing very well for Cleveland, and Cleveland's got their own mess of cap issues that they've got to solve. So there's a chance where maybe they don't believe that a safety is a high priority there. I think he could be a potential get for you and an underrated sort of impact player as well.
I know a theme of the show is we want them to get younger, but there's one veteran that I would go after if I was them because I think it would only take a 2-year deal. And I think if he checked out medically, it makes so much sense for what they need. This should be a team that's going after Trey Hendrickson. They should. They need that guy at pass rusher. He's not going to require 3 years of guaranteed money. He's going to fit in with Dan Quinn and up front of that defense. And he's the player that when he's right, offensive coordinators circle him going into the week and have to account for him. So, like, I'm with you, Trevor. Their strategy should be getting younger, but I think Trey Hendrickson is the outlier. He's an older player that I think this would make a lot of sense for defensively.
I think that is I would probably agree with you, and it depends on what he wants, obviously, but that's the one that you look into. I think, because you're trying to get younger basically everywhere. A lot of people are mentioning Nakobe Dean as well. He was on my list of guys to name too, because now Philadelphia's got Zach Bond, they have Jahad Campbell. I think there's a good chance that Nakobe Dean leaves, and I think that Nakobe Dean next to Frankie Louvu, that's another really nice combination at linebacker that I really like. So those are some options there. Trey Hendrickson at least fixes the number one problem that you have, and that you don't have a consistent one-on-one winner at edge. So I agree with that. Depending on what they think of their running back room, and maybe Breece Hall, if you don't bring back Chris Rodriguez, like maybe a Tyler Algier.
I was just gonna say Algier really fits. Like, let's get downhill and run through someone, because the zone read with Jaden getting to pick if he carries it to the outside or Tyler Algier runs right through your face up the gut. That I like that a lot.
So Algier, some people mentioned Micah McFadden, the linebacker from the Giants as well. Don't mind that if he ends up hitting free agency. Jamari Sawyer, who could play guard or tackle for you. Again, like just as a depth player along the offensive line, just a younger depth type of an offensive lineman. Those are a handful of names that I'm throwing out there. So
here's the best of both worlds for our edge problem. Okay. I brought up Trey Hendrickson, but your counter has been like, man, this team's old, and you ain't wrong. And Trey Hendrickson's been hurt this year, and when an older player's hurt, you're like, oh no, man, like Jalen Phillips going to free agency, man.
Ooh,
this is the one where you break the bank. He's 27. He's an edge rusher. He's playing maybe his best football right now. He looks awesome. And then you got your real dynamic edge threat for the next 3 to 4 years for Dan Quinn.
Oh man, I do like that one.
This team should break the bank for one of the top edge rushers.
Vincent $5 super chat saying Nakobe Dean will play for every team on Fix Your Franchise. Look, man,
there's always one player.
We're trying to help.
There's always one player.
Colin's saying that Howie's not letting Phillips out of the building.
Howie ain't afraid to let big free agents walk.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do this. So as we're going into the mock draft here, let's say I really like the idea of them getting Ronnie Hickman. I kind of want to stick to that. So let's go. They're signing Ronnie Hickman to play safety next to Quan Martin.
Yeah, they need reliability on the back end.
Let's go Nakobe Dean at linebacker, because I think that's more realistic than getting Leo Chanel. So we've got a linebacker there. And then let's say one of Trey Hendrickson or Jalen Phillips.
Hickman's a real like quality move.
I think so too.
Yeah, that's a really good poll by you. This is where it's like, we know Trey is going to get to the market. We don't know if Phillips is going to get to the market, but Phillips fits the youth movement.
Ooh, Cam Curl too.
I know. Can't we do a lot of Cam Curl? I think we had Cam Curl go to the Jets. Not that we can't do that again, but.
Okay, no, I'm going Hickman. Ronnie Hickman, Nakobe Dean, one of Jalen Phillips or Trey Hendrickson. You're bringing back Chris Paul to start at the offensive guard spot. You're bringing him some depth, extra linebackers, maybe a Jack Sanborn, maybe Jamari Sawyer. Maybe you're bringing back Andrew Wiley as well to play offensive tackle. You already have Brandon Coleman. Who at corner? Anybody at corner? I mean, maybe like Martin Emerson's a free agent too. Cordell Flott. But I think I feel like there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, there is only so much you can do. You're not going to solve. This is the whole, like, you might have to keep Deron Payne because.
No.
I don't love this corner class of free agency.
Okay, we might have to go into the draft with that.
They probably got to draft that player.
I think we'll go. But they'll probably bring Chris Rodriguez back. I like Tyler Algier more. So to be honest with you, like I would take Tyler Algier as a signing with Tyler. I would love to go Tyler Algier and Bill Krosky-Merritt as my two running backs going into next season.
Sure.
So now we need wide receiver. Oh, are we bringing Debo back? What do you think? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, or do we want to just sign Dobbs?
I think Debo's a better fit.
All right, so Debo's
what do you
back.
Think? What do you think? I feel like I named a couple of names there. What do you think?
I think bringing Debo back makes sense, and then trying to find your Romeo Dobbs in round 3 or 4, right?
Okay.
It's not like that's not out of the question.
All right, so going into the draft, we got Jaden Daniels, we got Tyler Algier and Bill Krosky-Merritt, we got Terry McLaurin, Debo Samuel, the rest of the tight ends that they have there. Offensive line is the same. We got Trey Anderson or Jalen Phillips. Dorrance Armstrong is still on the team, so he's probably there. Maybe you're bringing back Jacob Martin at that point. You got Johnny Newton and Javon Kinlaw at defensive tackle. We've got Nakobe Dean and Frankie Louvu. Trey Amos, I don't know who the other corner is, and then Mike Sainer still. And then we got Ronnie Hickman and Quan Martin. All right, let's go into the draft.
We really need to draft a corner at some point.
Yeah. Okay.
Can't reach for one, though.
So the Commanders are currently picking number 7 overall as it currently stands today. Now, remember, they don't have a ton of picks here. Because of the Laramie Tunsil trade, they only have a first rounder and a third rounder in this exercise that we are doing here today as a 3-round mock draft, because no second round pick, no 4th round pick. They do have an extra 6th round pick. So they have a 5th round and 2 6th rounders because of the Brian Robinson Jr. trade. And then they also have a 7th rounder as well. Okay. Let's fire it up.
Yep.
Let's do it. So let's go 3 rounds. Oh, beautiful mock draft simulator here from PFF, which, by the way, guys, Black Friday sale going on at PFF right now. You guys can get 40% off a PFF Plus subscription. If you don't have one, now is a great time to do it. Promo code Black Friday. That's how you get 40% off. You could run as many of these mock draft simulator runs as you possibly want, no matter how many teams, specific teams. You can do all teams if you want to do a whole first round mock draft, but you can do all that with a PFF Plus sub, and you can run through it. All right, let's get into it. Oh, Pete Woods. Oh, Pete Woods. He's right here. Peter Woods and Johnny Newton. Kind of like it.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
No, but I'm okay. So right off the bat, Jermod McCoy, Mansour Delane.
I was gonna say this is the ultimate McCoy team.
Jermod McCoy. Oh, yeah. With Dan Quinn's defense.
And we solved a lot of things with this team before the mock draft. We did not solve corner. We didn't have the fix for corner. Corner's a problem with this team. They're cutting Marshawn Lattimore. Jermod McCoy.
And it's really hard to think that they would get a starting caliber cornerback in the 3rd round.
It's hard to find one in round 1, man. McCoy's a stud.
A lot of people
get it, but what?
A lot of people are saying trade back. I think we'll run another simulation where we do a trade back here in a second, but because I do think
right, but who is coming? We will, but like you can't. Yeah, we'll do it for the second one, but the quarterbacks went already.
And to be honest with you, like the good players went. You look at this draft board: Caleb Downs off the board, Ruben Baines off the board, Arvell Reese, Ty Simpson, Fernando Mendoza, Jordan Tyson. Now, if Dante Moore is still in this class and he's on the board, okay, yeah, you could trade down to Miami or whoever. But I do kind of think that I think Jermod McCoy is the best option here.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Anybody else tickle your fancy at all?
Well, I mean, Peter Wood's talent is worth it here.
Yeah.
I get people will probably bring up Jeremiah Love. I don't think this is the team that could do that at 7.
Yeah. All right, let's take McCoy.
Yep.
Let's take McCoy here, and then let's see what options we have in round 3. Because we might be able to get maybe another wide receiver.
I was going to say, let's look at the wide receivers.
Okay. Jeff $2 super chat said, I swear to God, if the Giants take an edge, because they took Ruben Bain in this scenario.
That's really good.
That is kind of funny. There's options now at wide receivers now.
Man, I talked about a big-bodied player. Malachi Fields is that guy.
Dude, I like Fields. I also kind of like Zachariah Branch. Like, I think he's the upgrade version of what you wanted Jalen Lane to be. Now, if you still believe that Jalen Lane can be that guy, you got to give
that
direction.
Yeah.
I like Fields.
Fields stylistically is what I like here.
Or Bryce. Is it too early? I guess you can't really. Omar Cooper. I like Omar Cooper as well. He got to stop dropping the football. He's got to stop dropping the football. He's making sick catches. I think he's a great wide receiver.
He's so high variance.
I just feel like he's just got so many drops.
Yeah. I like Fields' fit with this team.
Yeah.
He's just a dynamic perimeter guy. He can go up and win the football. I mean, some of the catches he made this week were out of this world.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
He does that quite a bit.
He does. He has a lot of talent. I tweeted this out earlier this weekend, highlighting the one-handed catch through traffic. Is that He's got a long catch radius, and I think we often like just mention like, oh, this guy's got a big catch radius.
You use it.
It only matters if you use it.
Yep.
And he uses it. He's got some pretty great. Now, the route tree, not the best from him. I think he'll sort of live in that contested catch world, but man, he's got the ability to do it. We could take Fields here.
Yeah, this
I
would
like
be. And then we're going to kind of see how things look the next mock draft when we trade down and see, with more picks, but moving backwards, how things look.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, Malachi Fields here. So that means that our take home is Jermon McCoy and Malachi Fields. And obviously, like, Malachi's ranked 101 on the big board. We picked him at 71. So that's why the grade's a little bit lower here. But I think these are two big, good football players that really sort of round things out. And it gives you two young guys to be able to build around. Okay, let's see what a trade down could look like then. All right, so let's enter the draft. Let's start this bad boy again. All right, we got Jordan Tyson on the board. Kind of tough to pass him up.
I was going to say, but now you could legitimately say somebody came up for Jordan Tyson.
You could.
Jaden throwing to Jordan Tyson.
Okay, I'm sorry, I lied. Can you click Jordan Tyson and we see what the corners are in round 3? Can we just see it? We're just gonna see. We're just gonna see. Yeah, give me Jordan Tyson here. And then we'll do this one really quick, and then we'll do an actual trade down. Oh, dude. Your boy Keontae Scott. We could draft Keontae Scott or Xavier Scott.
The problem is this Xavier Scott would be I think this is where you take a fringe first round talent that falls because he got hurt in the 3rd round.
I don't know. I don't think he's going crazy high though. Do you? I know you.
No.
Okay.
No. I don't. I'm saying this is where he should go.
So if we got him, then Sanders still could. Can you click Xavier Scott? Because he's smaller too, right?
I think he's 5'11".
5'11", 195.
It's average.
I would be down with Keontae Scott or Xavier Scott.
Well, I think Keontae
slot only
plays a more limited role.
Slot only. Yeah. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's very good.
All right, you want to take Xavier Scott here?
Yes.
Dude. Okay, all right, let's take Xavier Scott. So,
I mean, this is like my favorite mock draft we're going to do the entire Fix Your franchise. You got Jordan Tyson and Xavier Scott with 2 picks.
And the previous mock, okay, we had Jermon McCoy and we had Malachi Nelson. Or Malachi, Fields. Sorry. Malachi Nelson's the quarterback. Okay, all right, let's do a trade down. Let's see what a trade down looks like. Nick said we need a BF6 stream for the Addicts. Not now, Nick.
Distracting us.
But maybe soon, actually.
We love the idea.
All right. So Jordan Tyson's available here again. Dante Moore is available. Let's say we're trading down to 10. Cardinals need a quarterback.
What quarterback is available?
Dante. Unless you want to operate as if like he's not in the class.
I mean, we've been operating that way, but we got to do the trade down somehow. So
we have been operating under that sort of structure. However, I think there is a world where all 3 of them could be in the class. And if they are, trading down from 7 because one of them is still available, I think is realistic. I didn't want to pick him when we were going through the first round mock draft because I thought that's sort of where we were leaning. But I do feel as though you could get somebody to trade up either for one of these quarterbacks who would be available at number 7 or Jordan Tyson.
I was just going to say, scroll down on the teams a little bit.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
All
right. So
how far are we trading?
Maybe not. No, we're not. It didn't work out the way I wanted it to.
Chargers could trade up for an offensive lineman. They could jump the Rams.
They can't give up picks.
Oh, do they not have any?
No, it's just they're gonna need those, but like they can wait because they need a guard.
Jeff $5 super chat says, "Could the Bucs trade up for TJ Parker?" I mean, I think that they should. I don't think the Bucs give up what is needed. They just don't trade their picks.
What if we had and I guess this isn't really the part to focus on, but what if we had the Ravens come up for Jordan Tyson? Why not?
I think they could come up for Jordan Tyson or TJ Parker.
Sure. The Ravens are coming up.
Okay. The Ravens are coming up. What do we got here? All
we're
right.
Getting, we're getting 46 for sure.
Let's see.
Yeah,
draft
pull
pick
up.
value. We're getting 46 for sure because Connor demanded it so. 46 is 440. That's, oh, yeah. I mean, you just do 46. It's close enough.
Okay.
All right. So let's just do the first and the second round pick. Ravens also, Sauter saying they need an offensive lineman or not a wide receiver. Well, I think that you got the ability to pick
once again. Don't focus on the Ravens in this scenario as much.
They went TJ Parker, so they went edge rusher. Good enough.
Good for them. The Commanders now being able to trade out, which is a home run.
Okay, I like. Did Mansour Delane go? One pick in front of us.
God, the simulator is cruel.
It's tough. It's tough for me. Have you watched Brandon Cisse yet?
I was just going to bring him up.
Brother, kid's got movement skills.
I haven't put him into
movement skills.
My top 50 like you clearly have. But I will now be watching even more.
We got the chat is screaming. The chat's screaming for Carnell Tate.
I mean, yeah, they should be.
Yeah, but we have a second round pick now.
Yeah, but you ain't getting Carnell Tate level player in the second round. I might be able to find.
Who are you getting a corner in the second round?
I'm not reaching on a corner here.
I don't know.
Delane just went.
I don't know.
See, I don't. I'll let you speak to that.
We can take Tate. It's fine. A lot of people are talking David Bailey as well here.
But we did come away with one of Jalen Phillips or Trey Hendrickson in free agency. And that's not a reason not to take David Bailey, David Bailey's a menace. Imagine if you had Jalen Phillips and David Bailey.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They already have Dorrance Armstrong, though. I think this comes down to, did we re-sign Jacob Martin or not?
Man. Deciding to take David Bailey because we might have re-signed Jacob Martin is like some truly
no. I just don't know if they would consider edge rusher then, because they probably would have been like, we already threw a lot of money at edge rusher. You know what I'm saying? With Phillips or Hendrickson and then Martin and
let me just put it in the most layman's argument ever.
Right.
Let's get the freak wide receiver for our franchise quarterback.
It's fine. All right.
Sorry,
Carnell Tate.
Yeah, you seem disgusted by it.
It's fine. No, it's fine. Fine. It's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. All right. To Carnell Tate.
God, Jaden Daniels and Carnell Tate. Wicked stuff.
Wicked stuff.
Real gnarly.
Keith Abney, second round.
I mean, see, this is the point right here. I don't like Keith Abney as much as I like Mansour Delane and Jermon McCoy, but sure. I feel okay getting a corner here and that I have Carnell Tate already.
Could go CJ Allen as well.
Could go CJ Allen, but I thought we felt good about free agency with linebacker.
We did. Yeah, because we got Nakobe Dean. You're right.
So Keith Abney.
They're just like, just go all wide receivers.
Nick Harper and Chris Bell. Brandon said Chris Bell and then Nick Harper in the third.
Okay, let's go Keith Abney. Let's go Keith Abney here.
This is going to be the best draft we do.
And then the last one.
Shocking, when you have more picks, you draft better.
Yeah, amazing.
That's analytics.
We've had a great draft the whole time. Guys, I know it's blurry. It's internet. Obviously, I can't call AT&T and have them fix it immediately. Just kind of is what it is. I'm sorry about it.
We'll read the names to you.
Eli Stowers. Kind of fun. I don't think we do it, but
Ertz is going to play forever.
Whit Weeks? Do you like Whit Weeks that much?
I just not prioritizing linebacker.
Okay.
I liked our strategy.
You want to get another pass rusher?
I'm trying to figure out right now, like what the next move is.
Michael Trigg is an upgrade at tight end. Man, that would be a bad look on Ben Sennett, but maybe
there's a reason for that. Yeah.
Right. Maybe so. What pass rushers left? Can we go to edge rusher?
Let's take a look at the edge rushers.
Yeah. Anthony Lucas, I don't mind.
Dude, I think Jayshon Barham plays with
he's your
speed.
dude. Yeah.
He could fly. I know
Full-time edge? Full-time edge? You like it?
Absolutely a full-time edge.
All right. We can take him. I don't mind it. You take him. Bagel said, what is Senate done? No. Yeah, I mean, it's true. It's true. All right, Carnell Tate, Keith Abney, Jayshon Barnum. Which draft do you like the most, chat? 1, 2, or 3? Let's hear it. Jermon McCoy, Malachi Fields, Jordan Tyson, and who was it? Who's the corner who we took?
Xavier Scott.
Or trade back Carnell Tate, Keith Abney, Jayshon Barnum. I think I also like 3.
Me too.
If nothing else, but
they need players.
Because it's more players.
They need players.
But I honestly, Jermon McCoy in this Dan Quinn defense is sick.
No,
he might be my favorite pick of all of the picks that we made, but I still think that I like Hall number 3 the best. Yes. Daniel said, I like Hall 6, 7. Get out of here. Get out of here. Appreciate everybody watching. We love you guys. Consider the Commanders fixed. There we go. Commanders fans. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We always really enjoy taking a deep dive into these teams. Appreciate the chat, everybody watching live. Shout out to all you guys. If you aren't subscribed to the channel and you're watching this show, we would love for you to be. We would love for you to be a part of the Addicts. It's also a free way to help support the show. We'd appreciate you for it. If you want to follow the show at NFLSE Show on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, on all that good stuff, at Tampa Bay Trey, at Connor J. Rogers. That's how you can follow us as well. The Fix Your Franchise type. Pimp Your Franchise series rolls on. We're going to have another team on Wednesday. We haven't quite decided which team we're going to do, but you're getting back-to-back. We're doubling up this week. So suggestions. Would love to hear from you guys. Fire it off in the comment section, whether you're watching this one live or afterwards. We'll take that in consideration because, of course, this is a show of the people. Connor, anything else before we get out of here?
No, thank you, everybody, for hanging around. We appreciate all the super chats. As always, we're going to try to like catch up on as many of these as we can. I say this in the least arrogant way possible. We are beyond blessed that we have so many that we do not get through them all on every show. And we are working on a way to correct that and be able to do that. But we'll be back Wednesday live at 4:30.
Yep.
And we'll see who we're fixing. I think I have a good idea, but I don't want to give away the surprise.
Yeah, don't give away the surprise. We need to hear from the people as well because we could definitely be swayed. Appreciate everybody who watched the show live. Appreciate everybody who watched it afterwards. Appreciate all the super chats. We love you guys so much. Thank you for making this community as amazing as it is. For Tyler Cook behind the glass, for Connor Rogers, I'm Trevor Sikkema saying thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the NFL Stock Exchange Podcast. We will see you guys